Hey, what's going on, everyone? Eric Rosen, Viking Rising Astrology. This is your August 12th horoscope for Monday, 2024. Well, first of all, I want to say that I do have an ebook that I just put out. It's $33. It coaches you through your entire birth chart, your natal chart. It's not just something that just only pins the tail on the donkey of what your placements are, but it also talks about how you can best utilize those energies in your chart as well. So if you're interested in that, you can click on that link down below. So today we've got Mars meeting up with Jupiter. It's starting its square over to Saturn. So what I want to say is this: pay attention to where your thoughts are going or where you're receiving them from. Really own your thoughts, your communication. You know, the tough part about Jupiter being in Gemini is that the behaviors really have to match the story of the abundance, the belief that we want to have. It's kind of like one of those things, like we can sit there and be like pie in the sky thinking and, want this big, magnificent change, but with it in Gemini, it almost like shoves your circumstances in your face to be like, oh, you want that thing? Well, okay, go out and like be and do and then have that thing, right? Like it really requires us to really focus on a mental level. And with Mars here, it's a very Spartan-like energy. It's a very warrior-like energy. It's very much like, even with Aldebaran, which is where Archangel Michael sits in Gemini, even though it's not right on top of it, we almost have to be in our divine masculine essence, man or woman, to kind of like really defend against negative thinking, negative thought patterns, negative ideas, to really step up to the plate of the story that we want to have. Now, Saturn is cross-checking that though, and making sure that it's not some illusionary, pipe dream projection of things. Now, we can still have that, and I think that is like ultimately the marching orders. That's like why, you go to battle. I mean, it's Mars on Jupiter. Of course, it's a battle of the mind. It's a battle of us changing our circumstances. But with Saturn there, it's like, hey, is this in integrity? Is this in spiritual integrity? Are you, trying to rush things or escape a circumstance or situation in your life that feels massively uncomfortable because it's requiring you to take action that, boost your identity of like what you can be? And then again, it goes back to that Archangel Michael defender energy of like, not being the coward that throws down the sword and shield, when things are getting the toughest or when you're uncertain or you go down like a bad train of negative thought. And so I think this is really a day to really pay attention, really this whole week, to like, if we slip in our thoughts or slip on an action, it's like, say ow, give it the sound that it requires, but don't, because this deals a lot with communication too. It's also like, don't go be dopey and sad with people and talking about how your life is hard or sucks. And it's almost just like attention getting, because Gemini is all about like picking up the phone and talking to people. And so it's like Jupiter and Mars, it can be, especially where Saturn, it can be like, who wants to listen to my sob story? And I think it has to be way more, having conversations with people and even the role modeling aspect of things to be that change that you show to people of like, hey, this is me stacking my wins. This is me taking care of business, taking care of my life. These are my behaviors. These are the things that I'm doing. So I'm even going to put like social media content creators and coaches and just really anybody that's doing anything in their life right now that's trying to like sugarcoat the circumstances or project some story and use this as a time to just like document, like, how are you really feeling? What's really up for you? What's the goal that you have and like, where are you at? That's honestly how I would use this, is almost like a spiritual support network system with people of owning our responsibility of our life, the adulting piece, the marching forward. It's marching orders energy. And, there's still medics on the field though. And I think some of those medics are the people that have empathy and compassion, but I gotta say, it's only going to people strategically, even if you can use your intuition with like who you're speaking to or just who you gotta go talk to. And if you're gonna get advice or give advice, just make sure that it's making sense and that it's not slippery and all over the place. Or if you're trying to ask for advice from too many people, because again, it's like this can be attention seeking energy. I would definitely consider too, with Mars that's going to be in opposition to Uranus today. This is the part for me that I'm probably the most riled up about for people, and gonna make sure that I'm checking myself too, because like the moon is really uncomfortable in Scorpio, but we can use it for transformational changes though too, like to be okay with the discomfort, to be that, defender on the front lines of things, and to see that it's not really about some material acquisition of things or something that's going to fulfill you or make you feel better, especially if it doesn't carry spiritual value, especially if like it just doesn't make sense that it's something that's been fading out of your life and's been broken and we're still trying to fix it. It's like trying to fix a boombox with like duct tape and electrical tape. It hasn't been working since 2018. It's just like you just throw the piece of shit out. It's like this brings up relationships really intensely. So for anyone that's like oh well, we tried this approach before but we didn't try hard enough, so let's try that approach again. It's like, no. It's like using this moon to like dig really deep into what is that deep, honest truth. Where is Uranus really asking you to go? I mean, it really got activated by Jupiter at the end of May. And so I think that story hasn't really changed too much in terms of like what it is that we're meant to be doing, we're supposed to be doing. So I don't think we need to go on a wild search that is just going to wind up with just the mirror of our environment and our circumstances and our mindset anyway to try to shift things. I think it's more just accepting that, yeah, when Jupiter went into Gemini, it's like things kind of deflated a little bit, but it's like now we have Mars here to go, hey, it's okay. Like, yeah, I know the all is in the small. We've got a lot of little things to do and to like create the world that we want. But then with Saturn there, it's kind of going like, hey, like, you're not just going to run around and just be all stimulated and just like doing things, that keeps you kind of chasing your tail. Like you got to like get out of this loop. And so that's whatever that loop is, for people. And it's going to vary across the board. It all depends what frequencies that people are connected to and type of action and mastery you've been taking. For some people, it could feel like, gosh, I got to change so much, but it's like you still just change a little bit at a time, just what's showing up right in front of you that you got to deal with, and not repressing it, pushing it down, that moon in Scorpio. And then for people that have been making the change, it's like, you know how it is. You've been on this path. Like there's always like another layer of mastery. There's always going to be still a sensitive thing to face. It's like, oh gosh, like this thing again, or like, oh, like this next thing. And it's like, yeah, this is the training. This is the battleground. It is of our mind. I've been saying that the closest thing I would liken this type of astrology to is Joe Dispenza type work of like reprogramming your subconscious mind and like seeing your behaviors and, showing up differently as that person. Now, it's not that you have to like do the meditations and read the book and just all that stuff. It's more just like slowing your reality like down enough that you're not chasing ghosts and trying to feel better and change your life all at once, or, create some like macro cosmic thing that's going to shift things. Cause I don't think these are really miracle moments. I think it's more just like, oh, okay, let me just like keep rowing my boat. Oh my gosh, my arms are weak. I don't feel like rowing my boat anymore. Oh, maybe I just need some water and like need to eat or something, or like talk to this person, and we keep finding the rhythm to keep moving forward. And that the changes in our behaviors, the changes in our mindset, it's like in that slowing down, it's like you see it and then you make the decision to shift that. And if you catch yourself like going back into the old negative idea, pattern, belief, or whatever, you just, that's that Archangel Michael energy. You just pull yourself up out of that and go, nope, I'm not going here. So that's how I would use this astrology today. So yeah, if you guys want to get your hands on that ebook or you want to get an astrology reading, the links will be down below. See you tomorrow.